Hey YouTube, this is a deck profile on a Guardian Eatos deck that I built and been playing. It's been doing well. I went to locals today and top four with it. We split in the top four, so we don't know who would have won, but it was against two 6 Sams as well and a official TK deck, which I already played in the last round of Swiss and I had beaten. So anyway, here's the deck. So 3 Guardian Eatos. Key thing for this deck is to play it first game and use it as a beater, but then in game 2 I always side them out. So only against official TK deck in game 3 I sided them back in because I was actually going first and had a chance where I could actually get them out quicker than they could get out their thing. So which worked out for me. So I mean two Thunder Kings. I didn't opt for the third one because didn't feel that I needed it against a lot of the matchups, so I decided just to play the first, just to play two, and I decided the third. Yeah, Double Breaker, which great card to clear the back rows against any deck that runs them. So I easy sided too because I sided them out especially against like Official TK. Didn't need it. But the other decks that I played, like Glad Beast, it worked overtime against Glad Beast. Great card against, what else did I play today? I played, Stardust, I played a Stardust Assault Mode deck, which I sided out for because it didn't really put anything in. So just good cards just to really get rid of their backfield, especially since a lot of people are playing Deep Prisons and stuff now. So, there you go. Probably the main card of this entire deck for me, which is DD Warrior Lady. So I run 3 of them, and this card is just unstoppable. I can set it, I can summon it and attack with it. Destroys absolutely anything. Glad Beasts run into it. They're screwed. I played against plant decks today, and same thing. It just really got no answer to it. I played a gadget deck today. I set it, they attack, destroy. Goes. They can't get over to 1600. If they ended up getting out Gear Frame or the larger Fortress, they just remove it. So this card is great all day today. What was a last second addition to this deck was my King Tigers, which ended up actually putting in overtime today. Official TK deck, he actually went first game 1, and he used Swap Frog and actually ended up getting 4 cards in a gray first turn, and including 2 Treeborn. So for my turn, I had to summon this first turn, set some back row, and that was the game. Just never left the field the whole time. Another game against Plant Sinker as well. Summon this first turn. Won the game. It literally won both games. Tooled. It only left the field once at the end of the game, and I summoned something else and attacked for a game. One Cyber Dragon in, and I didn't really expect to be playing too many machine type of decks, but the reason I'm the Cyber Dragon is just a nice opening if I can get as well with the Eatos, which a lot of times I did today. One DD Survivor, because since it is a Eatos deck, I will be playing the Fissure macro combo, so it's good sometimes having them out, and sometimes when we're in a top deck fight against either Glads or something else, this card really came in handy all day. The Lone Tuner in the deck, which is Gale, which in any anti-meta deck is a staple. Spirit Reaper, which I really feel now is, I guess, mandatory to be played now since 6 Sams are going to be going rampant. And then the final monster is Banisher, and it's one of my favorite ones because so many set cards they play, just run it over with it, and then afterwards remove it because plant decks are very popular, fish are very popular, so lots of cards that I can really ruin my opponent with just this card. So those are the monsters. And the spells now, I got, first of all, I got my anti-meta component there, which is my triple dimensional fissure. And one of my favorite cards of all time is really, ever since I started playing with defense, there's always the macro decks I started with. So many of the decks that I play actually run these. And this just worked all day today against any number of decks. Only deck I sided out for was the Gadget deck, because that deck did beat me in the Swiss run, but then I beat him back in the playoffs. So I adjusted, and that's the only time I ever sat this out all day. Because even in Glad Beast, I sat out one, but kept the other ones in Macrocosmos just to stop them from recycling things. Two-pod duality. I don't have three. I'm not sure if I would play three, but definitely a consistent component in this deck, and doesn't need to be explained. Two new cards added, which I really love, are Forbidden Lance, and the two cards in this deck that I play with the most is Warrior Lady, because I attack to try to, prison or something. This stops it from going through, but then I can still use Warrior Lady's effect. Other one is Breaker, Summer Breaker, to try to do something in Lance, and I can still pop the other back row. And then I just don't attack for the turn, and then I got my other back rows to back it up. So this won so many games today. And then of course if they attack, I can reduce their attack about by 800. I played 2 books. I'm not a huge fan of 3, only because I like variety. So I've never been a fan of playing 3 Book of Moons, but so obviously 2 is good. And I cited these out so many times today anyway. Not a big Book of Moon fan games too. 2 MSTs. I do still main 2 MSTs, even with the breakers, because it's all about back row hate with this deck. Dimensional Yas needs to have a clear field to get the swings, so the more I have this out, the better for myself. Another thing I put in today, last second, was 2 Smashing Grounds. And if I had to change something about this deck, it would probably be that. I wouldn't have played 2. I might have just played 1. It did definitely have its high points today, though, but I just don't see that I needed 2 all day today, especially with Lance in there. Lance is probably a better card in there. 1 Dark Hole, which just clears everything. Monster Reborn. People get surprised about this because of the fact that I play Eatos. They see the Eatos game 1 and also there's D-Fissures and Macro. They expect that I'm not going to play one of these. So their job is game 2 to try to get something in the grave as quick as possible, not realizing that I've already sided out the Eatos. But the nice thing about this is that I'm only running 4 removers and the Banisher, so 5. This card is still very alive, and I can also take things from their graveyard. 1 Rhoda, because I got 4 targets in the decks. It's just a good searcher. Last of the Traps now, and Triple D Prison, which is pretty much a signature of mine that I do. I tend to run decks running that. Any anti-meta deck I run nowadays, I tend to do that with, just because such a good card to remove things with. 1 warning, this would be 2 if I had to, so there's no reason for that. Mirror Force, just a nice strong hitter. 1 Solemn Warning, and 1 7 Tools, okay, because I knew I was going to be running into a lot of traps today, which it did, and I have a second one sided just in case. Only 1 Macrocosmos. As a macro player, I'm not a big fan of playing 2 or 3 macros if it's not a dedicated macro deck. With this deck, really, I'm just trying to get a big OTK off, or a big, set up for big hits, and then start going to control game 2 because the opponent doesn't expect it. Last card, which is one of my favorite cards, is Starlight Road. Just to protect, because I summon a lot. So, but the challenge I have with this card today, it really didn't see any action. I'm not sure in 6 matches if I even played it once today. I'm not 100% sure. So I think I drew it once and it got destroyed, but that might be something else that I might have taken out instead. Deck's 42 cards. I like 42 because of flexibility with side decking. That's just another signature of mine, but I could see that I could probably have cut out one of the Smashing Girls, like I said before. And Starlight Road, I'm just not, depending on what the ban list comes with, I'm just not sold on it after today, but that's just today. And to be honest, I didn't really play a lot of people who ran things like Torrential, and people were siding out Mirror Forces and stuff because of certain decks that were being played today at the tournament. So that's something I'll just have to wait and see, but for sure the Smashing Ground might have been something I was taken out. So anyway, so that's the Eatos deck. I have some other anti-meta decks. You can see my channel, the ones that I haven't played from, the ones that are regionals, so I'll have some more updates. Okay, alright.